So, nevertheless, guys, like Aaron said, man, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Like Aaron just said, guys, if you guys did not know, we already been Chairman 25, Chairman 50 organization. Like, if you guys did not know, like, we already been at a thousand percent. If you guys did not know, like, 100%, 100%, 100%. And I'm saying that from the perspective of, guys, hey, this is the season. Like, we really about to turn up for sure. Like, I want you guys to understand and know, like, everything that y'all go through, God don't waste nothing at all. God does not waste anything at all. And my topic today, what I want to talk about, is taking the limits off God. I want to talk about taking the limits off. Taking the limits off, man. And I want to play this G Herbo song called No Limits, right? I encourage everybody to go listen to that G Herbo song, No Limits, right? It's called G Herbo No Limits. But nevertheless, guys, taking the limits off. And what I mean by that is this, guys, you have to understand this. Like, hey, it's really time to really turn y'all savage up. Like, whether, I don't care why you join this opportunity, but what I'm saying is, hey, this is that season where, like, we really want to turn our savage up. And I'm saying that from the perspective of, guys, you have to understand, like, any professional, successful person, whenever they accomplish anything great, they had two things. They had two things in common. Number one, they was inspired. They was inspired. And number two, they turned they savage up. Because I'm gonna tell you this, guys. Like, yeah, you be humble to the point. You need to be humble to the point of just knowing that you're not better than nobody, but you need to be savage to the point that you know, like, okay, if I want to get this done, I get it done. Like, you need to be savage to the point where you know that if you walk into the room, everybody gonna watch you. They gonna stare at you because they see something in you, that they see something in you, right? And they know something, that they know that you're different, right? And that's the thing, guys. You can be humble, but at the same time, like, you need to turn your savage up. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Like, nobody ever accomplished anything like easing their way into it. See, instead of trying to test the waters to see if it's cold, I'm gonna just cannonball inside the waters. So instead of me thinking about it, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it, right? Because I feel like a lot of us, we that's what we doing with our goals. Listen to me. I feel like that's what we doing with our goals. We just testing the waters. I'm gonna humbly do this. I'm gonna be humbly do this. I'm gonna humbly learn how to trade. I'm gonna humbly get P6 knocked out. I'm gonna humbly do this. I'm gonna humbly. No, guys, people respond to savageness. But under that savageness, be humble there 1,000%. But I'm telling you this, people respond to something called authority. Listen to me. Confident people don't follow people that's not confident. Like, guys, when it comes to your goals, like, when you to the point where you had that level of, like you just know, and you just know, like, that ain't nothing period finna stop you from getting this done. Like, that's the level of savageness you need to, like, really turn up. Like, I'm gonna say this, like, don't look at it from the perspective of, don't look at it from the perspective of, like, dang, the thought just left my head. But what I'm saying is, don't look at it from, like an example. I know for a fact, if a person came to me and be like, "Man, JB, you can't do that," or like say that, I don't take it as an insult, but I take it as a from the perspective of, okay, cool. They said I can't do that. I bet. Give me a little time, but I'm gonna turn up. That's the thing, guys. What if I told you that, like, when you turn that up, everything else changes 1,000%, because it's the thing. What produces the blackout, and what's the blackout? The blackout is the flow stage. And when you tend to black out, you don't care about what's going on around you, because you so into, like, getting that thing done. And people that was good at blacking out, was people like Michael Jordan, was people like Kobe, was people like, Jay-Z, Diddy. Like, if you think of all of the greats, guys, they blacked out. They turned they savage up. And when they turned they savage up, like, guys, Stephen Curry blacked out, turned his savage up. Why? Because you need a level of aggressiveness. Think about this. When a train is going, and if a train, like, let's say I have a wall right here. Let's say that this is a wall. And let's say that this is a train. When a train going, In order for that train to break through that wall, it has to move at a level of speed to be able to, bust through it. And that goes to when it comes to your goals, guys. Think about this. You're not going to get your goals done casually doing things. You're not going to get things done casually doing it. Like, you need a level of force. You need a level of aggressiveness. You need a level, a burst of energy. You need a level, a burst of enthusiasm. You need a burst of belief. You need these things to break the barriers. Because if you don't have these tangible things, if you don't have these things to break the barrier, you're gonna hit the wall every time and repel. I'm telling you this, guys. Anybody that ever accomplished anything great, they did it with a level of like blacking out. They did it with a level of aggressiveness. If this is making sense, if y'all understanding what I'm saying, drop some 222s in the chat box if this is making sense, right? You don't break cycles. You don't have breakthroughs without a big burst of energy. It's not gonna happen. And you cannot do it just being hump. You guys turn your savage up. You have to turn your savage up. Like, ask yourself, what is the things that's gonna get me in mode to be able to turn me up? And it's the thing, if you guys do not know, when you help someone else with their vision, your vision will always come to pass. When you help someone else with their vision, your vision will always come to pass. What if I told you that your vision not coming to pass because you thinking so much in a box by yourself? What if I told you that your vision not coming to pass because you're thinking so much and you're thinking so much about the I and the me, that you're taking so much time out of yourself instead of turning to the people who God sent into your life? See, only those who turn to the people that God sent into their life will go to the next level. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but usually the people that help other people get what they want, help their visions come to pass, the things that they want, they help them bring that into their life. Usually they the ones that's always getting blessed with more. Just think about that. Think about this. When I look at a person who don't have much, that's the person that I can guarantee for a fact, I can even say, like, even you can look at the shout outs. Yo, do you have shout outs for your organization? No shout outs means nobody's being helped. And if nobody's being helped, your vision not gonna come to pass until you help them how their vision come to pass. Why? Because God sent them into your life, and he sent relationships in your life for a purpose. And if you're not helping their vision come to pass by helping them believe, your vision is never gonna elevate. I don't know if you guys understood that, but that's how entrepreneurship works. That's how it works. The person that grows the most will get rich, but the person that grows others will always make millions. That's the only way to scale up in entrepreneurship. You have to help other people. So taking the limits off, guys, and this is another reason why I feel like, we don't turn the savage up. I'm here to tell you guys, you don't want to lose sight of your vision, right? Yeah, it's getting hot outside. Yeah, go have fun and everything like that. But I'm gonna tell you this, like, when it get hot outside, people tend to get distracted. And they look up, a couple weeks, couple months later, and then they ask themselves like, man, I wish I would have stayed focused. Guys, I was in an Uber today coming back from somewhere. When I was in an Uber today, the man, he looked like, he sounded like he was like in his 20s. But I'm like, how old is you? Dude said he was 47 years old. I'm like, wow, you 47, bro? I'm like, bro, you look like you 20-something. And then he was like, bro, he's like, man, I told him, I began to tell him what I actually did. And as I began to tell him what I did, he was like, man, yo, you know about cryptocurrency, man? I was like, man, he's like, I remember when I was your age. He said, I remember when I was your age, man, I was at college, I was lost. I was just partying. I didn't know what to do. And now, I'm 47 years old, and he said, I don't want to do Uber, but I'm doing it right now. Nevertheless, he gonna pull up on my crib tomorrow, help him out. But what I'm saying is this, guys, don't lose sight of your vision. And that vision is that thing what you're believing for, meaning, your platinum rank that you want to knock out, the trading goal that you want to knock out. And this is something that I do want to read y'all real quick, because I feel like it's really going to speak to somebody on this call. It's going to really speak to your situation. If you've been that person that's been, you've been lacking on the savageness, you've been lacking on that breakthrough, it's because you in your head too much. You're thinking too much instead of doing. So check this out. And this is going to bring a little clarity back to your situation. So it's something called Exodus 14. I gotta read y'all real quick. So what this talks about, it talks about how Moses, I ain't gonna get too deep into this, the word or anything like that, but this gonna make sense. But Exodus 19 basically talks about this. It talks about how when Moses brought the people out of Egypt, because they was in Egypt in slavery, they was in bondage, and they was getting treated so bad. But when he brought them out of Egypt, check this out. When he brought them out of Egypt, as they was walking through the wilderness to be able to get to the promised land that God promised to them, check this out. God helped them out along the way, right? He supplied their needs along the way, right? And then they got to a place where the Israelites, he led the Israelites out of Egypt. Check this out. And as they came out of Egypt, the Egyptians began to chase them down as they going through the wilderness. Listen to me. So check this out. It says that the Egyptians chased after them with all the forces and Pharaoh's army. Listen to me. All the horses and chariots and his charioteers and his troops. Listen, the Egyptians caught up with the people of Israel as they were camped beside, this camp. And then it says this, as Pharaoh, right, the Egyptian leader, approached the people of Israel, looked up, and they panicked. Listen, they panicked. When they saw the Egyptians overtaking them, they cried out to the Lord and said to Moses, listen, this is how a lot of us sound, right? When we have a go, this is how a lot of us sound, right? We don't move because we saying this stuff. Look, they looked to Moses and said, why did you bring us out here to die in the wilderness, right? Weren't there enough graves for us in Egypt, right? What have you done to us? Why did you make us leave Egypt? So Moses brought them out of slavery, out of bondage. But then as they got into the wilderness, because they stopped listening to Moses, because they stopped focusing on their goal, they began to criticize him. They began to complain. They began to contemplate. They began to say man, we might as well just go back to Egypt and go be slaves again. It sounds like us. Meaning this, who does that sound like? Okay, cool. God give us a vision. As God give us a vision, he brought us out of bondage. He brought us out of slavery, working a job, our current situation, right? And as he brought us out of that, he gave us a vision, because God give you a vision along your journey. And as he did that, we began to complain in the middle of the process. We began to say man, I wish I had this. I can't do this because I don't got that. We began to say man, I wish my mentor helped me out, but your mentor, he can help you out. We began to say man, if I had this resources, I can do that, right? Sound like us, right? And then he said, why did you make us leave Egypt? Didn't we tell you this would happen while we were still in Egypt? We said, leave us alone. Let us be slaves to the Egyptians. So now they want to go back to slavery, all right? And then they said this, it's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness. No, it's not. I'd rather be a corpse in the wilderness than a slave. Working a 9 to 5 the rest of my life, not talking about a job, but I'm just putting things in perspective, right? What's a slave? A slave being a slave to what you did previously before you joined this opportunity. That's a slave, right? So nevertheless, they said it's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness. But Moses told the people, don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm. So I hope that made sense. And then I want to read one more. And then I want to read one more. So it's one more that says this. But if that made sense, drop some 222s in the chat box if y'all understood that. Drop some 222s in the chat box if y'all understood what I just said. Right? So check this out. And this what hit me, guys. Check this out. This what really hit me, because I really feel like somebody in a process, they going through this right now. It says this. It says, God said this. He said, my child, don't make light of the Lord's discipline, and don't give up when he corrects you. Meaning, don't feel some type of way when your mentor corrects you. Listen, for the Lord disciplines those he loves. And this is the thing. Sometimes if God want to get to you, he's going to use another person to tell you about your situation. That's why when they're speaking to you, if you feel some type of way, that means that means that's God trying to talk to you, but you got to be able to be in a place to receive it, because God hears you. He see exactly where you're at, but you have to be able to receive it, right? It says that the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes each one he accepts as a child. And then it says this: as you endure this divine discipline, remember that God is treating you like his own children. Whoever heard of a child who is never disciplined by his father? If God doesn't discipline you as he does all his children, it means that you are, I don't know how to say it, a legitimate, however you say it, I can't even roll it off my tongue. And you are really not his children. So, cool. Basically what I'm saying is this, guys. If you're going through your process right now and it hurts, like you've been focusing, it hurts. You've been grinding, it hurts. That's good. That means that it's building something inside of you. So when you do get the blessing, when you do get to that next station, your next level, you get to keep it. Because if you're going through your process and it don't hurt, if you're going through your process and you're not really feeling growth, that means you're not becoming, right? This thing, I've been thinking about that literally all week, because I'm like, man, even though we all in process, I'm going through a process too. And I'm just like, man, this stuff hurt. It's like when I go to the gym, I'm like, I don't want to work out, but I work out because I understand that it's changing my body, right? It's making my skin more tighter. It's making me get more ripped, stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. As you grinding, as you're putting in work, it's gonna hurt. Whoever heard of a father that doesn't discipline their children? You see what I'm saying? If you feel like you got pressure on you, whoever heard of a father that doesn't discipline his children, right? Your process is supposed to produce something in you to make you burst out, to be able to turn your savage up. You see what I'm saying? And the more you embrace that savage, the more you step into that, the more, this is the thing, you're not going to get what you want until you become bigger than what you want. Whoo! Oh, that just hit me. You're not going to get what you want until you become bigger than what you want. When you become bigger than what you want, then it comes to you effortlessly, right? And I'm saying this from perspective. I had worked out Riyadh when he came to Seattle, and as I worked out with him, we did some full body workouts. You know, I had the weights on my shoulders, and as he hit it, I hit it. I hit about like 8 of them. Afterwards, I'm like, I'm done, because my body wasn't conditioned to that. But little did he know when he left, I kept working on the same thing. I've been doing it consistent for 2 weeks straight. And as I did that, I go in the gym and I can hit that stuff effortlessly, right? Why? Because it's beneath me now. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. When your goals start to become beneath you, it's seen effortlessly, right? I hope this is making sense. So this is another thing, guys. When you look beyond everything, I want you guys to really understand that you have your hands on this opportunity. You have your hands on this information. It was given to you for a purpose. And this is the thing. I want you to drop a 3 in the chat box if your life been changed just by a little bit since you've been involved in this opportunity. Drop a 3 in the chat box if your life been changed just by a little bit by being in this opportunity. Just drop a 3 in the chat box. That should be everybody on the call. Drop a 3 in the chat box. So check this out. God does things with a purpose. He does things with a purpose. And his purpose for you was for him to put you in position to know this information. Because why? You come from an environment where the people don't know this information. Yes and yes. He put you and gave you resources, mentors, information, that Zoom links, things like that, so you can be able to become a different person. Why? Guys, you were positioned for a purpose. And because you was positioned for a purpose, now you have to go back and just like I talked about with the story from how Moses saved the Israelites from Egypt, from slavery and bondage. You know people in your network, you know people who you grew up with that's still in Egypt. You know people that's still in bondage, that's still in slavery. They doing things that they want to do. They complaining all the time, but they don't want to do that. Look at yourself as Moses. What if you was Moses? You put yourself in his body. What if God positioned you and he gave you mentors to guide you along the journey? Because as Moses went along his journey, God was guiding him the whole way. And this is the thing. The Israelites, let's just say that's your network. They gonna complain. It's not their fault. They complain because they don't know. And you were saved to go back and save them. God called you and he saved you so you can go back and save your network. Look at them as the Israelites. They trapped in Egypt. And you have to, this is the thing. What if God used this vehicle as investing, money in minutes, crypto, Forex, and as a gateway just to get them outside of what they're currently doing, to get them inside of this environment. And as they got inside of this environment, it's going to help them see life from a different perspective, right? If y'all with me, drop some ones in the chat box, right? I'm teaching. I'm not talking, I'm teaching. And I want y'all to understand, right? Because it clicked. That's literally what it is. If you guys did not know, the only thing about the word is put yourself in the place of the characters and you will see and look back and see this stuff. They're in Egypt, but until you turn your savage up, they're going to be stuck in Egypt. And it's the thing, you're not going to go to the next level until you bring them out of Egypt. You're not. You're not. In entrepreneurship, you're not going to go to the next level until you bring your people out of Egypt. Ooh, that's deep. That's really, really deep. And it's the thing. The height of your success is grounded in the depth of your discipline. The highest of your success, I don't even know if that's a word, but the highest of your success is going to be based on the depth of your discipline. And I'm saying that from a point of, if you think of a building, you can only go as high up. See, if you think of a building, think of the Willis Tower in Chicago, the Sears Tower in Chicago. The height of a building can only go that high depending on how deep it is in the ground. Meaning this, your vision can only go as high as the depth of your discipline. As the depth of your discipline. As the depth in your consistency every day. So if you're a person that's super disciplined, you doing what you have to do every day consistently, every day, that's going to be how high your tower is going to be built. But if you look at a person with no discipline, a person that's not consistent, a person that's not showing up, look at the height of their tower. Right? The height of your success is going to be grounded by the depth of your discipline. Right? And it's the thing. Even if you don't choose to do nothing with it, guess what? Opportunity don't go away. It just goes to another person. Listen, if you're not going to do it, if you're just going to sit on a blessing, opportunity don't go away. It just goes to another person. So regardless, it's going to get done regardless whether you choose to move or not. But God, he wants vessels and people to be able to do it so he can bless you to be a blessing to others. But if you're going to sit on it and not go save his people out of the wilderness for the purpose that he called you to, to save his people out of Egypt, to bring them into the wilderness, to be able to get to the promised land, he's just going to take it from you, do what you need to do, get in your own box, and he's going to give it to somebody else. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Those who use well what has been given, more will be given. But those who don't use well what they've been given, even with what little that they actually have, will be taken away. So what I'm saying is, you got to turn your savage up because you've been called for a purpose. It's no way around it. Whether you look at it for money, things like that, yeah, 1,000%. But what I'm saying is, this is what you've been called to be able to call other people to bring them out of where they at right now. And if you look at it from right there, guys, your life, the perspective be changed. Last thing I want to say is this, guys, understand this. Most people don't have a problem with potential. They have a problem with capacity. Most people don't have a problem with potential. They have a problem with capacity, the amount that they can actually handle. As large as your for however big your capacity is, for meaning like, how much you can be stretched, how much you can actually handle, that's gonna be the measure of your blessing. But if you can't be able to handle a lot, like I said, it will be taken away, or what little you have will be taken away. But nevertheless, guys, nevertheless, I tell you guys, you need to start looking like where you want to go. Start acting like where you want to go. Because if you really have vision for where you want to go, guess what? You will be taking action today. But if you're not moving, doing nothing, that just proves that you're too focused on the present. And when you're too focused on the present, guess what? You get stuck in your past. Because you're stuck in your present, thinking about the present, the current right now, you look at the past and you get the reminiscing and you stay stuck. But those that you can only move forward by thinking about the future, by thinking about your goal. And if you're thinking about your goal, thinking about the future, guess what you're going to do in the present? You're going to move automatically. You're going to do the work automatically. You're going to show up automatically. Why? Because you have vision, because it's clear. But those who don't show up, those who don't move, those who don't ask questions, those who stay in the same place, they're looking at their present situation. Because why? They don't have the vision on their phone. They don't have the vision all around them, guys, right? I can never sit still, because I'm always looking at my promises. And because I'm looking at my promises, I'm going to do the work today required to get to where I want to go. And this is the thing. Last thing I say is this. If you think about your goal and your vision, see, this is how God works. God give you a vision. The vision is the thing that you're believing for. If you're believing for the image, whatever you believing for, boom, I'm going to say that. You got the picture. See, God gives you a picture because he knows it's going to be distractions in the midst of the way. And if you think about the picture, you need to remove the picture and ask yourself this, because this is the process. This is the work. This is what manifestation really means. I have an image. I have a picture. But what is the steps that I need to do for this to come to pass? See, we tend to focus too much on the image, the picture, and not on the steps. That's what spiritual side of success means. The spiritual side of success is just simply the steps. It's the strategy, right? We think about the picture too much, the image too much, but we never think about the steps. That's why we say stuck. But if you know the steps it takes to get to where you want to go, guess what? If you focus on the steps and you complete the steps, the image you've been looking at, that's called manifestation. Manifestation is not just looking at the pictures gonna fall out the sky. No, you have to do the work. And what makes you do the work even faster, turning up your savage, getting in the right environment, asking more questions. Because if you're not asking questions, you're not showing up, you don't have a vision. And you don't have a vision because you too focused on the present or you're distracted. But nevertheless, guys, that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. I don't want to be long at all, but I hope this makes sense. Well, what I'm saying is don't take the limitations off. Don't limit God. Take the limitations off. Don't limit God. And I feel like this gave y'all everything I need to understand to go through the week. Stop looking at y'all promises, the pictures, if you're not going to focus on the steps. Change your mindset. My mindset. Focus on the steps. When I do that, the manifestation is going to come to pass. Manifestation cannot come to pass without any evidence. What is the evidence? What is the evidence? Like, if you went to court and God said, hey, look, I'm going to give you everything you want. Just bring me some evidence. If you don't have no evidence of some work that you're putting in, you just stuck. But nevertheless, guys, I love y'all 1,000%. Let's have a productive week. Let's turn up. Turn y'all savage up. It's time to get outside. It's time to turn up. It's time to put in that work. And I'm in mode. Let's get it.